Luke 9:24. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. You are sons of the Lord your God. You shall not make baldness between your eyes for the dead, for you are a holy people to the Lord your God. And the Lord your God chose you to become his prized people of all the nations, of the ones upon the face of the earth. You shall not eat any abomination. These are the cattle which you shall eat, the calf of the oxen, and a lamb of the sheep, a young he-goat of the goats, the stag and doe and roebuck and antelope and white-tailed hart and gazelle and cane leopard, every beast cloven-hoofed and cloven-footed to claw with 2 claws, and embarks chewing the cud among the cattle. These you shall eat, and these you shall not eat, from the ones embarking chewing the cud, and of the ones being cloven of the hoofs, and clawing cloven-footed. The camel and the hare, the hyrax, for they embark chewing the cud, but the hoof is not cloven. These are unclean to you. And the pig, for this one is cloven of hoof, and claws cloven-footed of hoof. But this one, as far as chewing the cud, does not chew the cud. This one is unclean to you. From their meats you shall not eat, and of their decaying flesh you shall not touch. And these you shall eat from all the ones in the waters. All as much as there are fins and scales on them you shall eat. All as much as there is not fins and scales to them you shall not eat. These shall be unclean to you. You shall eat every clean fowl, and these you shall not eat of them: the eagle and the griffin and the osprey, the vulture and the kite and the ones likened to it, every crow and the ones likened to it, the ostrich, the owl, the gull, the heron, the swan, the ibis, the cormorant, the hawk, the ones likened to it, and hoopoe, and long-eared owl, and pelican, and curlew, and the ones likened to it, the purple-legged stork and bat. All the crawling things of the winged creatures, these are unclean to you. You shall not eat for them. Every winged creature being clean you shall eat. Any decaying flesh you shall not eat. To the foreigner in their cities it shall be given, and he shall eat it, or you shall render it to the alien. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. You shall not boil a lamb in the milk of his mother. 1/10 you shall tithe of all your produce of seed, the produce of your field year by year. You shall eat it before the Lord your God in the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose his name to be called upon there. You shall bring me tithes of your grain and of your wine and of your olive oil, and your firstborn of your oxen and of your sheep, that you should learn to fear the Lord your God all the days. If the journey should be far from you, and should not be able to offer them, because the place is far from you, whichever the Lord your God chose his name to be called upon there, that the Lord your God shall bless you, then you shall render for them a rent of silver. You shall take the silver in your hands. You shall go to the place whichever the Lord your God should choose it. You shall give the silver for all of whatever your soul should desire, for oxen or for sheep or for wine or for liquor or for anything of whichever your soul should desire. You shall eat there before the Lord your God, and you shall be glad, you and your house. And the Levites in your cities, you shall not abandon him, for there is not to him a portion nor a lot with you. After 3 years you shall bring forth every 10th of your produce in that year, and you shall place it in your cities. And the Levite shall come, for there is no portion for him with you, and the foreigner and the orphan and the widow in your cities. They shall eat and shall be filled, that the Lord your God shall bless you in all the works of your hands, and whichever ones you should do. 7 years you shall make a release, and thus is the order of the release. You shall cancel every private loan, the one which your neighbor owes to you. You shall not exact payment of your brother, for it has been called a release to the Lord your God. The alien you shall exact as much as might be due you from him, but you may make a release for your brother of your loan. For there shall not be among you one lacking, for by a blessing the Lord your God shall bless you in the land which the Lord your God gives to you by lot to inherit it. But if in hearing you should hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, to guard and to do all these commandments which I give charge to you today, for the Lord your God blessed you in which manner he spoke to you, then you shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow, and you shall control many nations. But if you shall not control. There should be among you one lacking from your brethren, and one of your cities in the land which the Lord your God gives to you. You shall not disregard your heart, nor in any way close your hand from your brother, the one wanting. When opening, you shall open your hands to him. You shall lend a loan to him as much as he wants, and according to as much as he lacks. Take heed to yourself, there be not a hidden thing in your heart, a violation of the law, saying the 7th year approaches, the year of the release, and your eyes should be wicked toward your brother that is wanting, that you should not give to him, and he shall call to aid against you to the Lord, there shall be in you a great sin. Giving you shall give to him, and you shall lend to him alone as much as he wants of you. You shall not fret in your heart of your giving to him, for on account of this matter the Lord your God will bless you in all your works, and in all things of whichever you should put your hands to. For in no way should the one lacking fail from your land. Because of this I give charge to you to do this thing, saying, in opening you shall open your hands to your needy brother, and to the one wanting upon your land. If your brother a Hebrew man should be sold to you, or the Hebrew woman, he shall serve to you 6 years, and the 7th you shall send him free from you. Whenever you shall send him free from you, you shall not send him empty. With supplies you shall provide him from your sheep, and from your grain, and from your wine vats, as the Lord your God blessed you, you shall give to him. And you shall remember that you were a servant in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God ransomed you from there. On account of this I give charge to you to do this thing. But if he should say to you, I shall not go forth from you, for he loves you and your house, for it is good to him to be by you, then you shall make the shoemaker's awl, and make a hole in his ear against the door, and he will be to you a servant into the eon. And of your maidservant you shall do likewise. It shall not be hard before your sending them free from you. For the yearly wage of the hireling, he has served to you 6 years. The Lord your God shall bless you in all whatever you shall do. Every firstborn whichever should give birth among your oxen and among your sheep, you shall sanctify the males for the Lord your God. You shall not work with your firstborn calf, and in no way shall you bear the firstborn of your sheep. Before the Lord your God you shall eat it year by year in the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose, you and your house. And if there might be in it a blemish, lame or blind, or any severe blemish, you shall not sacrifice it to the Lord your God. In your cities you shall eat it, and the unclean in you, and the clean likewise shall eat as the doe or the stag. Except its blood you shall not eat, you shall pour it upon the ground as water. Guard the month of the new corn. You shall observe the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of the new corn the Lord your God let you out of Egypt by night. And you shall sacrifice the Passover to the Lord your God, sheep and oxen in the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose his name to be called upon there. You shall not eat it with yeast. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread of affliction. For in haste you came forth from out of Egypt at night, that you should remember the day of your departure from out of the land of Egypt all the days of your life. There shall not be seen by you any yeast in all your boundaries for 7 days. You shall not go to bed with any of the meats whichever you should have sacrificed in the evening, left over the first day in the morning. You shall not be able to sacrifice the Passover in any one of your cities which the Lord your God gives to you, but only in the place whichever the Lord your God should choose his name to be called upon there. You shall sacrifice the Passover at evening toward the descent of the sun, in the time which you came forth from out of the land of Egypt. You shall boil and bake and eat in the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose it. You shall return in the morning and go to your houses. 6 days you shall eat unleavened breads, and the 7th day is a recess holiday to the Lord your God. You shall not do it on it any work except as much as shall be done for your life. 7 entire periods of 7 you shall count out to yourself. With the beginning of your sickle upon the harvest, you shall begin to count out 7 periods of 7. You shall observe the holiday of the period of 7 to the Lord your God, as your hand is strong, inasmuch as the Lord your God should give to you, and so far as he blessed you. You shall be glad before the Lord your God, you and your son and your daughter, your manservant and your maidservant, and the Levite in your cities, and the foreigner and the orphan, and the widow among you, and the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose his name to be called upon there. You shall remember that you were a servant in the land of Egypt. You shall guard and observe these commandments. The holiday of tents you shall observe to yourself 7 days, and your bringing forth from your threshing floor and from your wine vat. You shall be glad in your holiday, you and your sons and your daughter, your manservant and your maidservant, the Levite, the foreigner, and the orphan and the widow being in your cities. 7 days you shall solemnize a holiday to the Lord your God in a place in whichever to the Lord your God should choose for himself. But if the Lord your God should bless you in all your offspring, and in every work of your hands, then you shall be glad. 3 days of the year every male of yours shall appear before the Lord your God in the place in whichever the Lord your God should choose, in the holiday of the unleavened breads, and in the holiday of the period of sevens, and in the holiday of the pitching of tents. You shall not appear in the presence of the Lord your God empty. Each offering according to the power of your hands, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he gave to you. Judges and judicial records you shall ordain to yourself in all your cities, which the Lord your God gives to you according to tribes. They shall judge the people with just judgment. They shall not turn aside a judgment. They shall not discriminate a person, nor shall they take bribes. For For the bribes make blind the eyes of the wise, and lift away the words of the just. Justly you shall pursue justice. You should live, and entering you should inherit the land which the Lord your God gives to you. You shall not plant for yourself a sacred grove, any tree by the altar of the Lord your God you shall not produce for yourself. You shall not set up for yourself a monument which the Lord your God detests. You shall not sacrifice to the Lord your God a calf or a sheep in which there is in it a blemish, anything in a sorry state, for it is an abomination to the Lord your God. But if there should be among you, in one of your cities which the Lord your God gives to you, a man or a woman who should do the wicked thing before the Lord your God to pass by his covenant, and going forth should serve other gods, and should do obeisance to them, to the sun or to the moon, or to any of the ones of the cosmos of the heavens, which I assign to naught, it should be announced to you, and heard, and you saw it exceedingly, behold, if truly the thing has happened, that this abomination came to pass in Israel, then you shall lead out that man or that woman, the one who made this wicked order, unto the gate. You shall stone them with stones, and they shall come to an end. By 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses one shall die. The one dying shall not die by 1 witness. The hand of the witnesses shall be upon him among the first to put him to death, and the hand of all of the people upon him last. You shall lift away the wicked thing of them from you. But if a matter in a judgment should be powerless for you to decide, between blood and blood, and between judgment and judgment, between blow and blow, between dispute and dispute, for matters of judgment in your cities, then rising up you shall ascend unto the place whichever the Lord your God should choose for his name to be called upon there. You shall come to the priests of the Levites, and to the judge, whoever happens to be in those days, and seeking after the matter they shall announce to you the judgment. You shall do according to the thing whichever they should announce to you, from the place of whichever the Lord your God should choose. You shall guard exceedingly to do according to all as much as the law should be established to you, according to the law, and according to the judgment, whichever they should tell to you. Thus you shall do it. You shall not turn aside from the matter of whichever they should announce to you, right nor left. And the man whoever should do in pride should not obey the priest standing beside to officiate in the name of the Lord your God, or the judge whoever should be in those days, then that man shall die, and you shall lift away the wicked one from out of Israel. All the people hearing shall fear, and shall not be impious any more. Whenever you should enter into the land which the Lord your God gives to you by lot, you should inherit it, and should dwell upon it. You shall say, I shall place over myself a ruler, as also the rest of the nations round about me. Then, in placing you shall place over yourself a ruler, whichever the Lord your God should choose. Him from out of your brethren you shall place over yourself as ruler. You shall not be able to place over yourselves an alien man, for he is not your brother. Forevermore he shall not multiply to himself a Calvary, nor shall he return the people to Egypt, so that he should not multiply to himself a Calvary. For the Lord said to you, you shall not add to return this way any more. He shall not multiply to himself wives, that he should not change over his heart, and silver and gold he shall not multiply to himself exceedingly. It will be whenever he shall be settled in the chair of his office, then he shall write for himself this 2nd book of the law in a scroll by the hands of the priests of the Levites. They shall be with him, and he shall read it all the days of his life, that he should learn to fear the Lord his God, to guard all these commandments and to do these ordinances, that his heart should not be raised up high above his brethren, that he should not transgress from the commandments, right or left, so that he should be a long time in his office, he and his sons among the sons of Israel. There will not be to the priests, to the Levites, the entire tribe of Levi, a portion nor a lot with Israel. The yield offerings of the Lord are their lot, and they shall eat them. There will not be a lot to him among his brethren. The Lord himself is his lot, in so far as he said to him, this is the distinguishing thing of the priests, the things from the people, from the one sacrificing the sacrifices, if both a calf or if also a sheep, that you should give the shoulder to the priest, and the jawbones, and the large intestine, and the first fruit of your grain, and of your wine, and of your olive oil, and the first fruit of the shearing of your sheep you shall give to him. For the Lord your God chose him from out of all your tribes, to stand before the Lord God, to officiate in the name of the Lord, he and his sons all the days. If the Levite should come from one of your cities of all the sons of Israel, of which he himself sojourns, that his soul desires, into the place whichever the Lord should choose, then you shall officiate in the name of the Lord his God, as all his brethren, the Levites, the ones standing there before the Lord. You shall eat a portion having been portioned, besides the sale of the things of his family. And whenever you should enter into the land which the Lord your God gives to you, you
shall not learn to do according to the abominations of these nations. There shall not be found in you one purging his son or his daughter in fire, or using oracles for divinations, or one prognosticating and foretelling, an administrator of potions, one charming an enchantment, one who delivers oracles, an observer of signs asking of the dead. For everyone doing these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. For because of these abominations the Lord your God shall utterly destroy them from your face. You shall be perfect before the Lord your God. For these nations which you inherit them, these shall hear prognostications and divinations, but to you the Lord your God did not give so. A prophet from out of your brethren, as me the Lord your God shall raise up to him. Him you shall hear, according to all as much as you asked of the Lord your God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, We shall not add to hear the voice of the Lord your God. This great fire we shall not see any longer, nor shall we die. The Lord said to me, Rightly all as much as they spoke, I shall raise up a prophet to them from amidst their brother. As you, I shall put my words in their mouth, and he shall speak to them in so far as I give charge to him. The man whoever should not hear his words, as many as the prophet should speak in my name, I shall exact punishment from him. Except the prophet, whoever should be impious to speak a word in my name, whichever I did not assign to him to speak, and whoever should speak in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die. But if you shall say in your heart, How shall we know the word which the Lord spoke not? As many things as the prophet should speak in the name of the Lord, and the thing should not take place, this thing should not come to pass which the Lord spoke not. Through impiety the prophet spoke, you shall not receive from him.
O son, take heed to my wisdom, and set aside your ear to my words, that you should guard good insight and perception of my lips. I give charge to you. Give no heed to a vile woman, for honey drops from the lips of a harlot woman, which for a time fattens your throat. Afterwards, however, you shall find it more bitter than bile, and being more sharpened rather than a two-edged sword. For the feet of folly lead the ones dealing with her down unto Hades with death, and her tracks are not established. For she does not come by the ways of life, but her tracks are slippery, and not well known. Now then, O son, hear me, and you should not do void works of my words. Make your way far from her. You should not approach to her doors of her houses, that you should not let your means of life go to others, and your livelihood to the unmerciful, that strangers should not be filled with your strength, and your toils should enter into houses of strangers. You shall be repenting at last whenever the flesh wears away from your body. You shall say, Oh, how I detested instruction, and my heart turned aside reproofs. I did not hear the voice of one correcting me and teaching me, nor did I set aside my ear. By little I came unto every evil in the midst of the assembly and congregation. O son, drink waters from your own receptacle, and the flow from your own wells. Let the waters overflow to you from out of your own spring, and into your own squares let your waters go along. Let it be existing to you alone, and let not a stranger partake with you. The spring of your water, let it be to you in particular, and be glad with the wife of your youth. Let your hind of friendship and your filly of favors consort with you, and in particular let her be esteemed by you, and be with you at all times, for in this friendship you will be accommodated a great deal. Be not much with the strange woman, nor hold the one not your own in embraces. For the ways of a man are before the eyes of God, and he watches until all his tracks. Unlawful deeds ensnare a man, and each is grasped by chains of one's own sins. This man comes to an end with the uninstructed, and from the abundance of his own sustenance was cast forth, and perished through folly. Mark 7:20-23. And he said, That which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. For from within of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. In ancient times, the Greek physician Hippocrates, often referenced as the father of modern medicine, wrote, We must treat the patient and not the disease. In a more modern update of the same idea, Canadian doctor Sir William Osler, one of the founders of Johns Hopkins Hospital, said the good physicians treat the disease, but the great physician is the patient who has the disease. While there are great sicknesses and diseases that primarily affect the outcome of the body, the vast majority of the physical symptoms of diseases that we see and feel are rooted in something that is inside the body. Understanding the truth encourages doctors to look for the actual cause of the problem, rather than focusing on the outward presentation. No amount of treatment of symptoms can cure the underlying problem. It may be addressed directly. The same principle applies to our spiritual health and well-being. The things that appear outwardly are only a reflection of what is going on in our hearts and minds. All of us are born with a sinful nature, so our natural bend is to choose wrong rather than right. But that problem and all the actions that result from it cannot be treated by trying to stop the evil acts that are outwardly visible. The only effective and lasting treatment must start from within. We cannot change our hearts or our nature, no matter how diligently we try. But God offers a new beginning to those who come to Him in faith. A new heart also will I give to you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. The only cure for the problem of sin and evil is God's salvation, which changes man from inside out.